Hey guys, how's it going? It is your boy, Manga Andrew, and I'm here to cover the spoilers for One Piece Manga Chapter 1055. And this is very interesting for what we're getting in the chapter because we're revealed on some interesting developments that are going to go on in this chapter, primarily involving Shanks, and some interesting developments involving the poneglyphs, or the poneglyphs. I cannot pronounce this word out loud. Poneglyphs. Poneglyphs. There we go. I'm sorry. That's going to be hard to say. But it's going to be very interesting. This is going to be a very interesting chapter, and I'm going to talk about the spoilers, starting with the first line of the text spoilers, which is the title of the chapter, which is Chapter 1055, New Era. And yeah, this is going to be very interesting because from there, the first line of the text spoilers proper says that Momonosuke stopped Yamato from intervening because he wants to save Wano by himself and that this is his duty. So this is very interesting, and from what we see with the next line of text spoilers, Momonosuke versus Green Bull. Momonosuke finally is able, quote-unquote, to use Boro Breath. He uses it in a borderline situation, but we didn't know if he was mastered it, or he has mastered it. So this is very interesting, and I think this kind of gives a little bit more understanding of how Momonosuke is able to use his abilities, and from what it looks like, he can only use his abilities at the literal last moment, where he's in grave danger, that he's almost at the point where he's going to die, and that's where his abilities pop up. It happened with his ability to climb up and use the flame clouds to get up to Onigashima. It happened with him actually creating the flame clouds on Onigashima the moments right before it was about to fall. And we're seeing now that it's appearing with his Boro Breath, him being able to use it at the last possible moment. So it seems as if this is something that is probably going to be mentally tied to Momonosuke's mental state potentially, or how he perceives the world or the danger around it, where he's able to use his abilities not effectively because he has to be in literal mortal danger to do it. So there's that. And from what we see with the next line as well, that with a single Boro Breath, Momonosuke hurts Green Bull. It doesn't hurt him quote-unquote severely because Ryokugu has prepared for a second round where he was going to fight seriously before Shanks. And this brings up something interesting because the next line of text spoilers say that Green Bull leaves after sensing the Shanks Conqueror's haki and realizing that the red hair pirates are nearby. And this is very interesting because the reasoning why Shanks needs to be here at Wano is so that we can get introduced to Green Bull and then immediately have him leave because he comes to a realization, oh, I cannot fight Shanks. See you later, scum. I'm heading out. So this is very interesting. This is a very interesting development. The fact that Ryokugu as an admiral is so terrified of Shanks that just sensing his haki sends him away from Wano. So that's interesting. So there's not going to be this big confrontation between the samurai versus Ryokugu, but the fact that Shanks is here is getting me very excited for what's going to be going on in this chapter. But from here, this is where more or less the Shanks stuff begins to end, where we're getting more into the poneglyphs, or the poneglyphs, and what they will mean for the characters, because the next line of text will say that Sukiyaki takes Robin and Law, this is very interesting, and Law, to the depths of ancient Wano, where the road poneglyph, or the road poneglyph, is located. There he explains to them how the current Wano Kuni was built. Wano was a bigger island that got smaller due to a sea level rise. Due to the sea level rise, it is not quite correct, but I can't give more details for now. So this is getting very interesting. This idea, what if this ties into an idea that the reasoning why there's only one big continent and not that many smaller continents is because the sea level rose, and that these islands were actually a lot taller or a lot bigger, but that because of what happened with the sea, it made them smaller, and that the reasoning why the Grand Line is how it is because of the rise and the fall of the sea level. What if there was only one large continent But because of what happened with the sea level, it actually shrank. And that's how the Grand Line was formed. That's just an idea that I just thought of. But yeah, we don't know exactly what this actually entails. We're going to possibly get it being more accurate when the actual translations for this chapter come out. But they are alluding to the idea that something happens with the sea level that caused Wano to become a smaller island. So that is something very, very interesting. And that there's more lore for the poneglyphs and Robin's conversation with Sukiyaki. So we don't get that information from the spoilers, but they are hinting at the idea that we're going to get a little bit more information about them. So we may get a little bit more information about how these poneglyphs are being read, how they are created, and why Wano is so important to the creation of the poneglyphs, as well as pertaining to the road poneglyphs in themselves, because that is something else that is brought up, and that it's brought up about the road poneglyphs. So that's going to be something interesting. And now we're getting towards the end of the spoilers that we have for right now, that the Straw Hat gang continues to have the party, so that's cool, and that the chapter ends with Luffy and quote-unquote other characters sensing Shanks' haki. Kid doesn't appear in the entire chapter. There are others who are with Luffy, but there doesn't feel Shanks' haki as such. They don't say, come on, it's Shanks. They don't all, let me do this, and they don't feel that haki along Wano. This is a little confusing, but I think the idea is that Luffy and others, probably those who have a keen sense of haki, so potentially Law, potentially Kid, Zoro, Sanji, the Scabbards, Usopp probably sensed it, but they're all sensing Shanks' haki being near Wano, but they also sense it possibly leaving Wano as well. So this is going to be very interesting, because this shows that there's going to be a little bit more conflict that we probably think is going to be going on with Shanks and Luffy, but it's not something that we're going to see right now. We're going to eventually see it later on, probably after Wano completely concludes. But what is very interesting is that we've finally established Green Bull, and I know people are going to be mad at the fact that Green Bull got scared off by Shanks, but it kind of makes sense, as well as just getting to see more potentially of the poneglyphs, as well as getting to have some form of confirmation that Shanks wants to meet Luffy, but that he has other plans for it, and that we're still going to be in Wano for a little bit amount of time, but now we're going to be shifting over to these individuals, to the Straw Hats, eventually leaving Wano and finally making their way to finding the One Piece. So this is going to be very interesting, and I can't wait to do my review proper of this chapter when it comes out. So yeah, this is all I really have to say about the spoilers for now. What did you think of the spoilers? Do you think that when it comes to this chapter, what are we going to get about the poneglyphs? And what do you think about the idea that Wano Kuni used to be a bigger island? Leave your thoughts and theories down below to see what is actually going on with Wano. And hopefully you will enjoy seeing more content like this while leaving a like down below, as well as subscribing to my YouTube channel for more One Piece content. So like, comment, subscribe, do all that cool jazz, and hopefully I'll be able to catch you in my next video. Goodbye!